Welcome back. Here are today's headlines of ChemCon TV's News Bulletin. An insightful interview on the true cost of carbon. A statement related to COP30 in Brazil. Filippo shows us Piazza San Marco. And to start with some key takeaways from Sustainable Tuesday.
This morning we had a very interesting session on substitution to safer alternatives. We had a representative of the European Commission, DG GROW. We had an association and we had a couple of companies presenting their cases. The key findings of this morning are that regulators believe that substitution is better than authorization. However, substitution is complex, and this is due to the fact that there are so many specific individual use cases. Lastly, it was said that substitution is not a remedy for managing risks.
3 takeaways from my end. The EU is ready for SSBD. The ship is sailing, and we are leaving behind, for example, the 12 principles of green chemistry. Second, SSBD is not only talking about substitution of SVHCs, it is especially looking into the avoidance. Does mean the concept also wants to push primary innovation and breakthroughs. The third point, if there is no business case, we always need to take into account that safer and more sustainable products will not sell themselves.
Following our Tuesday recap, let's check in with Filippo. I see you have found a horse.
Of course! I have a special relationship with them because you see, my name comes from the Greek, philos, lover, hippos, horses, so it's basically horses lovers. And look at them, how beautiful they are on top of the entrance of San Marco Basilica. These are the triumphal horses of San Marco. Well, replicas of the originals. The ancient bronze statues have been looted from Constantinople during the Fourth Crusade in 1204. They are a powerful symbol of Venice's imperial past. The Basilica di San Marco, built in the 11th century, is Venice's most iconic church. Known for its dazzling Byzantine mosaics, golden domes, and opulent interior, it once served as the private chapel of the Doge. Inside, you'll find the Pala d'Oro, a breathtaking golden altarpiece encrusted with gems, and the relics of Saint Mark, Venice's patron saint. The Basilica anchors Piazza San Marco, often called the drawing room of Europe. This grand square has hosted everything from political ceremonies to carnival celebrations. From here, you get a fantastic view of the square, and you might notice a couple of towers.
Speaking of towers, today's cartoon for the interview with Eric de Deckere and Christoph Katz also features towers, symbolizing several European chemical clusters and the challenges they face. Draghi emphasized the need for simplification of enforcement on member state level and a business encouraging legislation on EU level to boost industry competitiveness. In practical terms, what would this look like for the chemical sector?
It's certainly harmonization of the different legislation. I think that is clear because there is a lot of things which are in there which are just a burden for the companies and do not have really an added value. And I think there is really the alignment crucial. And we also see in a lot of legislation that there is data sharing. So they're asking for all type of data. CSRD is one example, but you also have the discussions on the DPP and functional product legislation. So there is a need to, at a certain moment, produce data. But really try to focus. So as policymakers, try to focus on what type of data is crucial for really the reason why it is asked. So don't ask just data for data, but ask for information which is having an added value for the ones who need those data.
And if you look at that, I mean, I spoke earlier about the closure announcement that Dow made, and if you look at that, they spoke about a structural problem in the region and also weak demand in Europe in their public announcement. So if you look at that, it's a complex regulatory jungle out there that asks for multiple times for data. So harmonization there certainly makes sense. But it's also, if you look at the last piece of what has happened in the first von der Leyen Commission, they produced thousands and thousands of pages of new regulation. First of all, not all of that is implemented, and then also, I mean, you like the images that also. I mean, we have a lot of pieces out there that is called omnibus right now, and that is simplification. Great. I think the intention is great. If I look at some of them, I would probably rather call them a minivan than an omnibus, to be honest. So I think there is a very high need of really creating also the things that make life. At the same time, I think as European citizens, we want safety, we want environmental protection and all these elements. So none of them should forego that. I mean, that's very obvious.
Please watch the complete interview on our YouTube channel. After this interview, let's team up with Filippo and unlock the secrets of Piazza San Marco's towers.
Hey Tier! Did you know that Piazza San Marco has two legendary towers? The Campanile, or bell tower, nearly 100 meters tall, was once a lighthouse and a watchtower. Now it's the best spot for panoramic views of Venice and the lagoon. Its 5 bells used to signal everything from council meetings and parties. In Venice, it's always time to celebrate. Speaking of time, check out the clock tower of the Torre dell'Orologio, built in the late 15th century. Its dazzling blue and gold astronomical clock shows the time, moon phases, and zodiac signs. Above all, 2 bronze Moors are striking the bell every hour, a dramatic welcome for the visitors coming from the sea, and a symbol of Venice's mastering of time, trade, and technology.
Speaking of symbols, there's a glass artifact, a delicate bird hinting at your next destination. Any guesses?
Birds whistle, music play. I guide tours in the Conservatory of Music Benedetto Marcello in the Grand Palazzo Pisani. You wanna join me?
Sounds fun, but first you will be guiding some of our delegates during our Wednesday walking tours, and then we can catch up at tonight's social event. Maybe the bird will whisper that location. It's always a high-stake game for our delegates to figure out where it is, but I bet you can find it. From a glass bird in Venice, we now take flight to another bird of feather. Today's statement highlights regulatory and sustainability developments with Thaianne Resende from Brazil's Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. Welcome, Thaianne.
Thanks, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Thaianne, next month in November, Brazil will host COP30. What key issues affecting chemical industry are expected to be on the agenda?
Yes, it will be the COP of nature, and for industry of chemicals, we are looking for the transition energy, decarbonization, circularity, and short-life climate pollutants like methane.
And your statement is?
From chemicals to climate, Brazil is ready to act.
Thaianne, thank you very much for your statement. Wishing you all the best with COP30 in the Amazon. Before we move to today's forecast, let's first review our dish of the day. On World Wednesday, we're not serving Italian ravioli, but delicious dumplings.
Dumpling. This is a traditional dish from China, filled with tofu and mushrooms. Enjoy!
Today's program brings more Asian influences, but first we take a regulatory tour through the Americas, covering the USA, Canada and Latin America. Next we shift our focus to the Asia-Pacific region, featuring insights from industry and regulatory speakers, including relevant news from Vietnam. This afternoon we will dive into a session on China, Korea, Japan and India. And something new today, 3 workshops. Exploring the cost of carbon, driving chemical sustainability with ChemScore and beyond, and a brainstorm session on building a financial yardstick for shareholders and investors in the chemical industry. Thank you for watching, and for those here in Venice, enjoy the walking tours, and we look forward to seeing you at tonight's social event.